Take the last 5 blog posts your brand published. Read them. Then ask one question. Could any competitor in my category have written them? For most brands, the answer is yes. Not because the writers are bad, but because the strategy started at the wrong step. Most content flows start with a keyword list because that's where content writing tools start. Brand foundation comes last or never, and the content that comes out reads like it was written for the industry, not the brand and its target audience. In this video, I'll show you why brand foundation has to come first, how it flows through every downstream step in your workflow, and a 4-question test you can run on your own content tonight. 3 coffee brands, all sell coffee, all could write a blog post titled, How to Brew Coffee at Home. Nescafé, Starbucks, Blue Bottle. Same category, same product, 3 completely different brands. If you wrote that blog post starting from a keyword list, you'd produce the same article for all 3. Same topics, same brewing methods, same equipment list, and same SEO header structure because you analyzed the top competitors from a keyword's SERPs. That's wrong for all 3 brands. Nescafé writing this post should feel frictionless. Hot water, 2 minutes, done. The voice is practical and simple. Coffee that works for real life, no ritual required. The equipment needed is a kettle and a mug. Terms like extraction yield or grind ratio never appear. The reader doesn't want a coffee education, they just want coffee. Starbucks should feel aspirational but accessible. You can make something close to your cafe order at home. The post references their beans, maybe a French press, and a recognizable flavor profile. The voice is warm and encouraging. Coffee culture is for everyone, not just people with expensive equipment. Now, Blue Bottle is completely different. Specific, technique first. They lead with water temperature and grind size before mentioning a single product. The voice is precise and confident. This is what coffee actually should taste like when you do it right. And here's exactly how. Now, same topic, same keywords, 3 completely different articles because they're 3 completely different brands. When content strategy starts at keywords, it collapses those 3 brands into one generic article. The Nescafé post reads like Blue Bottle. The Blue Bottle reads like Starbucks. Nobody sounds like themselves. Same thing happens with burgers. McDonald's, Shake Shack, In-N-Out. They would all write 3 completely different articles on the same topic if the brand foundation is doing its job. Now, brand foundation changes what you say, how you say, and what you never say at all. I want to show you exactly how this works inside a real content workflow. But first, here's what brand foundation includes. So here we have brand identity, your positioning, voice, values, USP, and brand story. This sets the angle for every topic the brand should own. In the brand foundation, we have different sections. We have the content guide, which covers terminology, rules, approved messaging. This controls exactly which words appear in your content and which ones never do. We have brand voice, an AI analyzed voice profile from your writing samples. The AI reads the rhythm and tone of your actual writing, not a description of it. Then we have visual style. We have a color palette, typography, design patterns pulled from your website. This directly feeds AI image generations. Knowledge base, your uploaded reference documents, PDFs, Word docs, and URLs. This is where your brand's actual expertise lives. So you'll see all 5 of these working here. We have 2 fictional brands. Same market, completely different brand foundations. First one up, Daily Cup. It's a mass market, home coffee, Nescafe type positioning. The brand exists to make decent coffee fast for people who want coffee, not a coffee education. So you could see the mission statement: to make a good, reliable cup of coffee accessible to everyone who wants it, quickly, affordably, and without the need for tutorials or fuss. The brand voice is practical, direct, unintimidating. Their customer opens the cabinet, makes something hot, and moves on with their morning. The other brand we have, Ridge Roasters. It's a craft pour over coffee brand. The blue bottle type positioning. They source single origin beans, publish the farm names, and believe most people have never tasted what coffee should actually taste like when it's made correctly. So the voice is precise, confident, and a little evangelical about technique. So you could see their mission statement here is to make coffee that rewards attention by supplying single origin beans from named farms, publishing transparent roast dates, and refusing to sell beans past 30 days post roast, while teaching homebrewers the precise techniques that make coffee repeatable. So you could see, same coffee category, completely different brand foundations. Now, let's take a look at the topical research for both brands. So you could see what the main topics are for each of the brands for home coffee. Here we have Home Coffee Guide, choosing a coffee format, best everyday ground coffee, best coffee pods, best instant coffee subscription guide, coffee brewing basics, and under coffee brewing basics, we have quick brew methods for busy mornings. That's an article that Daily Cup would write. Now let's take a look at Ridge Roasters topical research. Same core topic of home coffee. They have single origin coffee guide, choosing coffee by roast date and freshness, best home brewing methods. And you can see an example of another topic they would write, how water temperature affects extraction, choosing home coffee equipment, roast subscription and delivery guide, farm provenance, and transparency. What we're going to do now is take a look at these two topics of how water temperature affects extraction for ridge roasters and quick brew methods for busy mornings for Daily Cup. And we're going to walk them through the content workflow. And you'll be able to see how the same seed topic of home coffee creates two completely different articles. So you can see here how the same seed topic actually results in a topic gap between the two brands. That's the brand foundation telling Floyi what home coffee means for each brand and their buyer personas. For Daily Cup, it's a convenience problem. They want coffee right now, right away. Whereas Ridge Roasters, it's a quality problem. They want the best coffee possible. And if your brand is in a completely different category, whether it's B2B, a services, a personal brand, the same logic applies. Your brand context changes what the seed topics produce. There's no generic topical map that you can create across multiple brands. Let's take a look at content briefs for both brands. On the left, we have Daily Cup's content brief for quick brew methods for busy mornings guide. Then for Ridge Roasters, we have how water temperature affects coffee extraction guide. Let's take a deeper look at these content briefs. Let's take a look at the article goals for each of them. So you can see here, we want to create a definitive quick brew guide that helps busy adults get reliable coffee fast on rushed mornings. Here at Ridge Roasters, we want to create a definitive extraction reference that helps serious homebrewers, completely different audiences. You can see the search intent, the buyer journey stage. You can see the target audience of busy adults. And here we have homebrew enthusiasts and serious hobbyists. Here you can see the target buyer personas are different. They're detailed. They're not generic personas at all. We have Michael Harper, who's a software engineer here. Then we have Emily Carter, who's an elementary school teacher, and Mark Reynolds, who's a sales operations associate. Different targets, which would need different types of writing, brand voice to engage them. So you can see here the writing guidelines, the voice and style. Here we have the tone of voice, which is plain spoken, helpful, friendly, and efficient, right? It aligns with the brand's competent coworker feel, avoids coffee pretension, and keeps the focus on speed, reliability, and clear usefulness. Whereas here with water temperature and ridge roasters, we have a tone of voice of precise, confident technique first. Aligns with the brand's workshop-like voice by using exact measures, measured encouragement, and instructional language that privileges reproducibility over convenience. you can see the differences in the tone and the voice that are going to be used for each of these briefs, right? And that all comes from the brand foundation. If you look here at the content guide, we have terminology rules. We can see that we want to avoid the term brew strength, but we want to use extraction yield, bloom time. With Daily Cup, we want to avoid bloom, extraction, grind ratio. They're more technical terms, and we want to use first pour, brew strength, more plain spoken, more common language. And we also analyze the top SERP competitors. We analyze what's similar across all these competitors. We could see the core topics that are commonly discussed. We could see the key entities that are commonly used. You can see 7 of the top competitors that we selected for the brief. 3 of them discuss cold brew. 3 of them discuss French press. And we analyze them for information gain opportunities. Here's a unique angle that can help our content stand out. Here are content gaps in the SERPs and in AI search responses, in AI mode, AI overviews, in Gemini and ChatGPT. So we can see a rating of 0.9 for information gain here. And we can see here that the AI citation opportunity is high. If we fill this gap, there's a high chance that AI search responses will use our content for citations and even mentions. We have a lot of different opportunities here. Here are the suggested keywords and entities to use, internal linking according to our topical map, and then any knowledge base references. So if we had uploaded any research or any materials that are specific to Daily Cup, the details would be added throughout the content brief where it's relevant. Okay, so you can see each of these sections have a section goal, specific content points to talk about, specific keywords to use in this section, and the word count suggestion for this section. And that's for every single section. And that's what drives the article drafts. Now, here are 2 drafts that our agents generated for the 2 brands. You can see how the featured images are distinct in their style. We'll go into that a little bit more. First, I want to look at the copy. On the left, we have the Daily Cup brand. On the right, we have Ridge Roasters. On the left, we have the paragraph, when the first cup has to happen before 9 a.m., consistency matters more than coffee shop theory. Daily Cup readers care about a routine that works on a rushed weekday and still tastes decent. So you could see the plain language style that's used. We don't get into technical terms. With Ridge Roasters, let's take a look at their paragraph. Small temperature shifts matter because extraction plateaus often sit close by. A few degrees can move a cup from sharp and lean to rounder and more structured. So you can see here, it's a lot more technical. It's a lot more targeted to homebrewers and enthusiasts. And then you could see 2 words, recipe development here. It frames homebrewing as a repeatable process to improve, right? It's not a habit to make easier. It's to improve the taste of your coffee. The difference between these 2 paragraphs isn't good writing or bad writing. It's the 2 brand foundations producing 2 different outputs automatically. And that shows how important your brand foundation and buyer personas are to the article drafts that you generate. I wanted to cover now the AI images. Let's take a look at some of these AI images for Daily Cup. It's warm, inviting. They're a lot more friendly. This is a setup you can imagine in your kitchen. You can look at the font type that's here. Whereas with Ridge Roasters, you can see that it's more commercial product photography style. There's more studio lighting. It's more clean, minimalist. It's more scientific. So what you see now is you have the same C topic. You have 2 different maps, 2 briefs, 2 image styles, and 2 completely different article drafts. That's the framework doing its job. Now, here's the framework itself. Every content strategy has 4 layers to it. You have the brand, audience, topics, and content. But most SEOs build them in the wrong order. Layer 1, we have the brand. What you stand for, how you sound, what you believe about your market that competitors don't. If your brand position is we do the same thing as everyone else, but cheaper, that's not a position. That's a price tag. Layer 2, audience. You need real personas, not demographics. A real persona captures what a buyer says out loud when they describe their problem and what they're afraid to admit is wrong, and what makes them dismiss a brand in the first 10 seconds. Marketing managers 35 to 45, that's not a persona, that's a census category. Layer 3, topics. This is where most SEOs actually start. They go direct to specific keywords that are coming out of their favorite keyword tools. But you saw what happens when topics come after the brand and audience instead of before them. Daily Cup and Ridge Roasters ran the same seed. No overlap between the maps because the brand context filtered the output before a single topic appeared. Start from topics first and skip layers 1 and 2, and you end up with generic articles that could be written by any competitor in your space. Layer 4, content. Briefs and drafts come last. If layers 1, 2, and 3 are solid, the content practically writes itself. If those layers are weak, no amount of editing fixes it. You're polishing a structurally broken brief and draft, and you end up more frustrated. Most content strategists start at layer 3 and reverse everything else. How many AI content writers have you used that try to bolt on a brand or target audience when you're drafting the article? Start at layer 1 with the brand, then let each layer feed the next one. Don't wait until the very end when you're writing your content to add on, oh, this is my brand, this is my audience. Those articles never come out well. The 4 layers tell you how to build a strategy. Now, these 4 questions will tell you whether a piece of content actually inherited it. Pick one piece of content your brand published in the last 90 days. Read it and ask yourself, for brand, can you identify the specific brand position it expresses? Or could any competitor in your category have written it? For audience, can you name the exact persona and the specific pain it addresses? Or is it just generic people in this space? For voice, does it match a documented voice guide? Or does it read like default AI marketing copy? For topic fit, does this piece connect to a coherent topical map? Or is it a standalone article with no relationship to the rest of your content? If you fail one of these questions, now you're rewriting. So run this on 10 of your most recent pieces. And you may find that 3 to 5 fail, right? And you end up needing to rewrite it. So start there. That's where your content stops being yours. Brand foundation isn't a strategy exercise you do once and forget. It's the structural input that runs every content decision downstream. Skip it, and your content reads generic and bland, regardless of how strong the writers are. When the foundation is right, every piece of content you publish sounds like yours. Nobody else in your space could have written it. That's what you're actually trying to build toward, right? A brand that stands out. Subscribe for weekly content strategy and topical authority workflows. See you in the next one.